talked about schools, but even if you just walk
Very complicated agenda.
Does it actually mean anything at all?
Okay, this is right or wrong, but it doesn't actually follow it.
We've been in recession for a few years now.
Have any of you been impacted?
real stories,
We learn from one another.
real issues. Is Islam a threat? And real views. This is Real Talk.
In our ever-changing world, where diversity and identity take center stage, preserving one's faith, coupled with pursuing higher education, is indeed very taxing and, in fact, a formidable quest. This is Real Talk Africa.
I am Abdul Qadir Ismail Uluagbemiga, and with me for the discuss today are three great personalities who understand the intricacies of student life on campus. The first, I have the current state coed of Majlis Khudamul Ahmadiyya, Ogun State, and a worker with the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Saeed Idu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I also have a missionary and tutor at Jamia Ahmadiyya, Nigeria, Muallim Sulaiman Idris.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Then finally, I have the head of marketing department at the Federal Polytechnic Ilaru, Mr. Alhaj Abdul Aziz Ali.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I would not forget to introduce my respected audience. Audience, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Before we dive into the heart of the discourse, come with me to the street to listen to what some of our students have to say about Muslim identity on campus.
What I can say about the challenges faced by Muslim students in colleges and campuses about their confidence in associating amongst their peers in the college.
Muslim students, they face quite number of challenges on campuses, prominent ones that include religious practices, their dress code, sexual ethics, Islamophobia, and quite a lot more.
Unfortunately, we still have instances of Islamophobia on campuses, which makes students unsafe most of the time. Muslim students, where they are minority, do dress as a Muslim, so they face discrimination. They are discriminated upon on the number of dresses and how they dress.
Very recently, let me be very particular. We had a case of some Muslim students who are using niqab, and when she wanted to sit exam in the last semester, it happens that some lecturers or some invigilators denied her entrance into the exam hall because of her mode of dressing. In a situation where we have people of diverse culture coming together at an institution of learning, because they are learning together at that particular institution, it might be difficult for a Muslim, or it is one of the challenges they face, because while trying to portray yourself as a Muslim, it is actually very certain that other people can see you as being different from them.
For Muslims to be able to deal with all these challenges of asserting their identity on campus, they need to make themselves people of value. Recently, we heard of the Muslim lady that graduated with the best CGPA of 5.0 from the Faculty of Law in in Lagos State University, and you can see that when you make yourself a person of value, people will be the one to seek your attention. You won't be the one to be seeking their attention.
Muslims should make sure that they move together, they encourage each other, they do things together. When there's a course that we are doing in school, it is important that our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, we should follow up with them, we should be friends with them, we should read together, do things together. I think this is how we can continue to promote ourselves, because when we read together, it is very easy for us to say, okay, let's go and pray, it's time for Salat.
Respected viewers of Real Talk Africa, welcome back. You have listened to the voice of the streets. Now coming back to our guests, Mr. Saeed Ido, having listened to what the students have to say, can you please give us a straightforward explanation of Muslim identity entails?
Well, we need to understand the two key words, Muslim and identity. And according to books, authors, more importantly, believe a Muslim is a person who practices Islam as a religion. And identity, according to Cambridge Dictionary, is a feeling of a particular feeling of being of a particular person or something. So the distinguished characteristics of Islamic culture, such as the way we make our dresses, the way we put on our dresses, our names, eating habits, drinking habits, define the concept of Muslim identity.
The Muslim identity is defined by our name, our culture, the way we speak, and the way we behave. Okay, having said that, Missionary Saib, do you think the Islamic identity coupled with the Islamic ethics influence the decision of students regarding their academic and career choices?
Well, thank you very much for that question. I would firstly say that Islamic identity is the surface where we have the framework of it, underlying framework of it being the Islamic ethics. And Islamic ethics is well rooted in the Islamic principles. So the influence of Islamic perspective is a concept that really shapes an identity of a Muslim student. Here, I would want to say that the behavior, the moral value of a Muslim is found. The first thing that I would say should be a major part is the intentions. The intention of a Muslim should be such that he wants to move closer to God Almighty. When talking about career, that would be the primary intention, but the secondary intention would be that sourcing knowledge should be for the sake of humanity. Apart from that, the ethical value, when we talk about calmness, respect, integrity, dignity, it should be found in a Muslim, should be found in the identity of a Muslim, and these are the ethics we're talking about.
So it is expected that as a Muslim, your faith should influence your choice of career so that you do not do things that might go contrary to the belief of your faith. Well, thank you very much. Al-Hajj Abdul Aziz, do you think our Muslim students on campus face challenges asserting their identities while on campus?
Thank you. There are a lot of challenges that our Muslim students are facing on the campus. I'm going to look at this from two perspectives.
Okay.
You know, in Nigeria, we have, and all over the world, for instance, in Nigeria, we have public schools, we have private schools. In our public schools, there are some challenges that our students are facing, which is just like, it's not normal if those public schools are imposing them on them, because our constitution does not allow it. But for instance now, in our school, most of our students, you know, most especially our female students, you know, Islamically, female students are supposed to dress in a particular way by using their hijab, or some can decide to use niqab. In some schools, they would say that they cannot allow students to use niqab. For instance, a student were denied of going to exam hall In fact, the management came up with a decision, indecent dressing. They came up with decision memo and billboard where they show some indecent dressing. And they put a student that wear niqab as part of indecent dressing, which is not normal. Because a student that cover his body, I believe that particular person is trying to practice Islam. But when the system is now denying them of being practicing that, I think it's not normal.
Okay, sir. So looking at the situation or example you mentioned, so how do you think these challenges can be tackled by the students? Or how do you think they can approach these challenges to offer solutions to them or to move forward from them?
Thank you, my brother. As I've rightly said, it is not allowed in our constitution to deny students, most especially in our country today, Nigeria as a country. I would like to read from Constitution. Section 38, subsection 1 and 2 of our 1999 Constitution says that every person shall be entitled to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, including the freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others, and in public or in private. So if Constitution has given us this right to practice our religion, practice of our religion as a Muslim is to dress in a particular way. But some of this system, not all, because for instance in our school here, Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, I know of some students that are using niqab and management did not disturb them. But if this kind of situation occur in any institution, I think what we need to do is the Muslim community, the leaders, needs to come up. The group, that is, all the Muslim communities need to come up to challenge that kind of situation. And even the children themselves supposed to talk on time when it happens. So
what you are saying is, if issues like this arise on our campuses, the first thing to do is take up legal actions against these the perpetrators of such act, because it is against the constitution of our country.
Yes.
Okay, coming from another point of view, Missionary Saib, when you were speaking, you talked about the importance of God consciousness even before you decide on the course you're going to study or your career line. Well, do you think the concept of taqwa or God consciousness itself resonates among our Muslim students so as such that it enhances their behavior and their career chosen in their life?
Yeah, thank you. Taqwa, as you call it, God's consciousness or the fear of God, should be like a pendant, a precious pendant that one has to go about with. It makes a student feel the presence of God in him always. It enhances such person to get himself along with God anywhere he goes. A point we need to understand here is that we have frivolous activities around our society today. In our schools, in our campuses, a Muslim shouldn't get himself along with it if he has the taqwa, because these frivolous activities is so dangerous that we are now contesting with the ways we have Islam. So we shouldn't contest with it. When having such a taqwa, you would have your feet firm to the ground, so much that when the trial comes, the flood of trial won't wash your feet away from the ground. So my point here is a Muslim with the taqwa, the level of taqwa in him would prevent him from getting swayed from the ways of God Almighty.
Taqwa would keep you firm in the line you have chosen and makes you stand firm even in the face of adversities. However, Mr. Said, do you think it is easy for people, or for students especially, to carry on with their career objectives without the need of mentorship Or don't you think peer pressure is one of the challenges that students face on campus that make them lose their identity? And how do you think they can navigate through the challenge of peer pressure, and how can mentorship work?
Well, we need to understand what mentorship is. Before you could be regarded as a mentor, it means you must have gathered experience. You must have had upper knowledge over somebody. In this case now, in an institution where we have senior colleagues, we have lecturers, it is incumbent on us to be able to impact what we have gone through to those who are coming behind. And in this case now, for instance, a lecturer should be a mentor to students, Muslim students per se. A senior student should be a mentor to his junior students. So it is expected that as a mentor, as somebody who has passed through a lot over new students or over junior students, it is expected that they go through, they achieve, they tap from your experiences. So as a Muslim student should be free to walk to a mentor, a Muslim mentor, be it a lecturer or a senior student, to be able to express his or her mind. What does she go through? What is she experiencing? So that a mentor will be able to rescue whatever situation that is at hand of the junior students.
So what you are saying is the mentorship is a very vital instrument that makes students navigate through the ocean of maintaining their identity on campuses. Yeah. Thank you very much for that wonderful question, for that wonderful answer. And moving on to our audience. Audience, you have listened to what our panelists have to say. And some of you might have some personal experience, especially as students who are navigating through this ocean of challenge on your various campuses. What do you have to say?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'll be directing my question to Alhaji Abdulaziz Sahib. Sir, for those of us who face various challenges on campus, making it difficult for us to maintain our identity without difficulty, what piece of advice do you have for us from a managerial point of view?
That's a good question. Some of the challenges you are facing on campus, sometimes, you see, some of us, let me share my experience with you. Recently, I just got to know that one of a particular student, I've been in my department for about almost a whole semester now. And this is the final semester. That is when I got to know that this particular student happened to be not just Muslim, happened to be an Ahmadi, like me. But don't be surprised. This particular student have not been, participating in any program, whether AMSA program or whatever. And we know that management, we have identified that there is a problem. There are challenges in the campus. But some of us we are the problem to ourselves. We need to work as a team. We need to work as a team. We need to associate ourselves with the member of our group, be it AMSA or MSS or whatever. Let's, work together so that when there is a problem, in every higher institution there is what called Director of Student Affairs. And every institution, when they are coming up with any policy, whether rules and regulation, that go contrary to our constitution, that kind of rules and regulation or policy is not avoided. That was the reason why I said initially that any policy that an institution come up with that is not agree with the constitution, every group that rules and regulation against have right to go to challenge them at the court of law.
So what you are saying in essence is, if the students themselves can first make their identities known, so that everybody identifies them for their identity, to know this person's identity. Yes. And when you make your identity known, then if you have any challenge, when you speak up to people that can help you, it will be easier for them to assist you in overcoming any challenge you face.
Yes, quickly, please. You see, in our institution, as I've rightly mentioned, this DSA, Director of Student Affairs, every association have the right to register with them. AMSA have registered with them in any institution. So once you have registered, you have your constitution, you have given it to them, and they know you with your principle. Then when they go contrary to it, you have the right to challenge them.
So what our father is saying is, anytime there is a challenge, especially for students, you need to speak up, reach out to people that can be of help so that they can help you overcome these challenges. I want to ask a question from one of the audience. When we talk about navigating through these challenges on campus, do you think it is really so tedious or so difficult to navigate through the challenge of maintaining your identity on campus? Or do you think there is any intricacy attached to the case of identifying yourself on campus? Because why should students find it difficult to identify themselves for who they are on campus?
Thank you very much for that question. I would say it is not so difficult. It could be, but it is not so difficult. It could be because, yes, there are challenges on campus. Then I can say no, because for every challenge, there's always a solution. Now, how can you go about this? We have already identified these challenges that they are present, but going through or navigating these challenges, I think there are two things that needs to be done. Two things need to be done.
Okay.
One is it takes personal effort, and the other is a collective one. Let me start from the collective one. Just like Alhaji Abdulaziz rightly said, Quran says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. O you who believe, fear Allah and be in the company of the righteous. There is a general knowledge among humans that there is nothing like a lone wolf. If you are a lone wolf, however powerful you could be, you can easily fall prey to other small, animals in the kingdom. So when you identify, when you are part of the company of the righteous, of course, there are people trying to challenge you. But when you have people of like minds, rubbing minds together, moving around together on campus, the challenge that comes from your peers, your colleagues, you can easily navigate through these challenges. The administrative challenges, like Alhaji Abdulaziz rightly said, could be taken on legally with the administration, but the one that comes from colleagues can be tackled by being in the company of righteous minds, people of like minds. That is a collective effort that can be put in to navigate these challenges. And as for personal efforts, this is very, very simple. One thing we need to do is to become good Ahmadis. I could remember very well, the Prophet Messiah, alayhi salam, says in one of his writings that as an Ahmadi, Allah has promised that all my people, my companions, people that follow me, they will be the best among their peers. And that is one thing we need to work towards, achieving success. Make yourself the focal point in your department. Make yourself the point of reference. When there is anything, people should talk to you. People should see you as the best. When you are the best, there could be challenges coming from the administration once again, but the challenge that will come from your peers, they will not be able to talk to your face. They will not be able to say anything to your face. If at all they are going to grumble, it's going to be behind your back. Because of what? Because you are the point of reference. When they have challenges in the exams, they come to you. When they have challenges in the courses, they come to you. And this way, I feel we can navigate through challenges that has to do with colleagues on campus.
So, the best way to navigate through these challenges is first, make yourself be in the company of the righteous.
Yes.
So after you have made yourself in the company of the righteous, you should also make yourself indispensable.
Yes.
Make them come to you, make them see you as the best. And when they see you as the best, they see whatever you do as the best thing to do.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I love that response. I don't know if anyone has any question again. Okay, you can ask the questions.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is direct to Missionary Sulaiman Idris. From an Islamic perspective, what advice would you give to Muslim students navigating cultural diversity on College campus?
Thank you very much for that beautiful question. I would firstly say that a Muslim student on campus must have a firm faith. And like the previous speaker said, you should be in the quad of the righteous ones. The Ahmadi Muslim Students Association is good enough for you to be part of. Therefore, you should be part of this group. Then you can navigate into any other part of the school. Most importantly, the school system should provide a platform for interfaith dialogue. The school system should provide a multi-religious activities that would encourage students to respect other religious group while you maintain your stand in your group. You will be respected and you will show kindness to other people in the campus. So it is important that you should remain, have firm faith, and do accordingly. I think, lastly, let me make this point. It is dangerous to be dishonest, because having it at the back of your mind that you can sail through easily using ways that are not so clear would stain your integrity as an Ahmadi Muslim.
Okay, so what you are saying is, from the Islamic perspective, you have to be true to your faith. When you are true to your faith, maintain your dignity, maintain your honor, and only turn to Allah. Then you will find a way through.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question from the audience, and thank you very much for the answer from the panelists. However, once again, before we go, I want to ask you, Mr. Saidido, what would be your parting advice for students, parents, and anyone facing these challenges on campus, or anyone whose ward is facing this challenge on campus? What should they do?
Well, I so much appreciate the question, but instead of starting from the student's perspective, I would like to start from the parent's perspective. There is this general saying that charity begins at home. As a parent, the onus is on us as a parent. What becomes your child, whatever he or she wants to become in life, starts from home. So there is need for good parental upbringing. So once we feel that, there is possibility that the child will have challenges in the future. So, and don't forget that Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, every one of you is a shepherd, and each of you will be responsible for his or her food. So as a parent, we have quite a lot of support, guidance to give our child, because a child, you become a child before being a student. So whether you like it or not, you're a child of somebody. So if you're a child of somebody coming from a particular home, you must have been impacted, the positive aspect, those characteristics that will make you a better person in the campus. So once you have that, once parents are able to do that, it will shape the life of a particular student, a Muslim student.
Parents should ensure that they impact on their children the best of characters so that they can be able to sail through any challenge in campuses. Okay, Missionary Sap, what would be your parting advice? And or probably a personal experience, but a parting advice, something to hold on to that will make this challenge quite easy to navigate.
Thank you very much. My advice would be that nothing is easy, most especially a career, academic career, you definitely scale through. So here I would want to say that we should lay much emphasis on prayers. Prayers should be the key, because it is the key. The key we're talking about here will be the drive that will take you to the destination you want. Apart from that, we should ensure that we are in the midst of righteous ones, and we do not need to fidget from the faith we belong, because it is clear that we belong to the part where God Almighty Allah enjoys most.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So Al-Hajj Abdul Aziz, so what would be your parting advice to her, sir?
Thank you, my brother. You see, we have identified problems, and my advice is that when these kids, I mean our children, when they get admission into an institution, like my brother rightly said there, charity begins at home. Most of the parents, they normally, immediately children get admission to our institution, they just believe that they have the freedom. That should not be. Immediately our kids have admission to our institution, we should constantly be visiting them. Going to the school, even unexpectedly. There are a lot of things. You know, environmental factors are there. Aside the challenges, you know, environmental factor itself is a challenge. But when we are visiting them from time to time, we can begin to guide them, help them, and instead of them to fall into trap of this end time, then we will have been a solution to them before the problem will come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, to all of our panelists, our audience, I must thank you too for staying glued to this session. For comments, questions, and observations, please reach out to us via africa@mta.tv. Till we meet again, this is Real Talk Africa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.